So, a little bit about iTrain. At iTrain, we are supporting digital transformation in Asia, and we are the pioneers and leaders in tech learning. And at iTrain, we believe in two core principles: the power of technology to shape the future and help us build a better world, and that love of learning is the source of human ingenuity and well being. Our goal, which is backed by government and academia, is to fast track Asian businesses with the latest technology applications and know how. So, these are some of the courses that we are currently hosting. So, we have trainings in mobile development, blockchain, data science, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, fintech, digital marketing, and cybersecurity. At the moment, all these courses, because we have currently the RMCO, so all these courses will be available also in class starting from today. So you can see at our website and follow all the latest updates on what are the upcoming courses you can join. And all our courses are also HRDF claimable, and yes, so you can benefit truly from learning new skills that are necessary to stay relevant in the Industrial Revolution 4.0. And so we are also hosting master classes that are more specific towards some practical skills. So all this you can learn from our website, www.itrain.com.mi. And as you can see, we have partnered up with quite a few partners. And yes, so we've helped companies across many strategic sectors to digitalize their companies and make their employees more data aware and more technology aware. And that is it from me. But a brief reminder again that please write your questions in the comments section. And all your questions will be answered after one's presentation. And you will be able to gain access to the presentation and the recording of the webinar if you fill out the feedback form. So thank you for your attention. And I give the floor back to Juan.
Okay. So thanks for joining me this morning. So my name is Wan Muzaffar. I'm co-founder of Anak Tuyu and HRDF trainer, training mobile app development in iTrain. So today the title of today's webinar is Improve Customer Engagement with an App. All right, so a little bit introduction of myself. So I've been in mobile industry since 2011. So I'm a technical trainer in iTrain Asia. So I've been working in different industry, m-commerce, newsfeed, media broadcasting, food delivery, airline, and loyalty. So these are some of the industry that I have been working in. So this is my very first app. So I studied in France back in 2011. So the first app was built. If you remember, right, last time there's Carrefour in Malaysia. So it was built to be presented to Carrefour. So it was back in 2011. So you see, I take a note here as well. It's on iOS 4. So I'm not sure for those iOS user out there, it's like 8 or 9 years back, right? And then I came back from France. I joined Astro. So some of the two big projects. The first one is few projects here. The first one is Astro Awani. This one is 2013. It's for the election. So that's why we Awani team launched Astro Awani apps. Another one is this one is the main project in Astro. So to 2012. It's Astro on the go. I think today everyone watch Netflix, but half of you might be watching Netflix. But if you love local contents, you might prefer Astro on the go, which has more local content. So that's Astro Go. Now they call it Astro Go. So that was my main project. I was there for 2 years. And then I moved to another company to do some product management work. It's called Room Service. It's a food delivery app. And now it's acquired by Foodpanda. So back in 2014. Then I joined the software house. So we developed our two main clients is Firefly. So for those who fly through Firefly, I think you can see the app that I have on screen is the same as the app that you have might have on your phone. So it was built by my previous company, and then I had the website also was built by the company as well. So it was part of my projects. And then my last project as a development manager is for AirAsia fans, right? There's no was Firefly, now it's AirAsia fan. So we built this app, it's called AirAsia Big Loyalty Point Apps. Now they call it Big Life. That allows you to collect points from AirAsia and you can redeem within the app as well. So that's some of the my projects that I've been working for the last 8-9 years. And then of course with iTrain, I do mobile app training as well. So the iTrain handle class not only in Malaysia, right? So they bring me around the world. So this one from the top left is in Sri Lanka, and then if you join us in iTrain KL, so this is how the office look like. All right, so this is in iTrain KL, and then this is in Singapore. This one is in Brunei, Indonesia, and this is my favorite, the Maldives, right? So it's class from different countries, which is under iTrain Asia. And at the same time, I'm working with a school management slash parent teacher apps. Right, we call it Anak to You. So it consists of, at the moment we have three main products. We have a website which is called Explore website. It's where you can find kindergartens or nurseries based on your budget, based on your location and budgets. And then you have a communication. So if for parent and for teachers to communicate the children activities to the parents. So that's another app that we have. And then we also have digital, physical, and blended product. So that's some overview about me and my projects. So today we're going to talk about mobile app development and how it can help you to improve your customer engagement. So when we talk about mobile app, we are not only talking about the phone, right? It includes the smartphone, one thing, and it's also include the tablet as well. Don't forget we have iPad, iPhone, and then people now talk about TV apps, mobile device TV apps. So that's everything that you learn in mobile app classes. It can be easily replicated into tablet and TV apps. All right, people normally use it for news, weather, email, or social network. So basically, you have two choices: either to do a web version or to create a specially created mobile app. So these are some of the strategies that company. I try to do a lot of use case with company in Malaysia. So these are some of the use cases how the company in Malaysia try to improve, to implement in their mobile apps to increase customer engagement. So the first one is they do gamification. So gamification is adding some game dynamics into your mobile app. The objective is just one to improve stickiness or to encourage users to return back to your app. How they do it? They do rewards, quiz, badges, leaderboard, and progress display. I will share you some example, right? So if you are a Maybank to use, this is what we call a gamification, right? If you do Maybank to your user, you know there's an MAE that will allow you to play games. This is very direct. It create a games. The game will allow you to gain points, and then that points is converted to 1 cent, 2 cents, or something, right? So this is a very straightforward gamification. And then when we talk about points, I recently downloaded Settle app, all right, that allow you to collect points that you can change to money, right? So if you haven't downloaded Settle app, you can download Settle app and see. It's by Petronas. So the first you will get rebate 10%. So that's a way how Petronas try to integrate gamification into the app. So they give you points, they give you rebates, and then we have challenges as well. But I do have a screenshot where, for example, if you the first challenge is to recommend one friend, and then you recommend 3 friends, 5 friends, etc. So that's some of the example how to integrate gamification inside your app, and then it will try to increase customer loyalty. I use Anak to you as an example of as well over here. This is our report card page where we talk about progress display just now. So this come into my mind where we have a report card, the normal dull report card that parents receive. We try to include it as a gamification by showing it in a way that, all right, these are your child progress and what can be done so that it become 100. For example, under math here we have tests reading 1 to 10, etc. So that's some of the example of gamification. Another way, all right. So how companies tries to increase what can you do with your mobile app is to create a location aware application. So there are 3 ways for you to create a location aware application, right? The first one, I think the one that we are familiar with is geolocation. So you get the latitude and longitude, and then it's find you the nearest Petronas, for example, or an example of Food Panda, right? So it get your latitude and longitude, and then you will find all the restaurants nearby. So that's one way how you can input, how you can create a location aware application. But there are 2 more ways for you to do that as well. The 2 more ways, and you can be creative about it. The first one is what we call geofencing. So geofence, look, when we talk about location, we talk about a single point, latitude and longitude, all right? When we talk about geofencing, we talk about a latitude and longitude and a perimeter surrounds it. So for example, we can say that you have a latitude and longitude, you have a location. I set it to Pavilion KL, all right? And then I set it to a perimeter around it. So which means that around 2 kilometers of Pavilion KL. So if you are entering anywhere around 2 kilometers of Pavilion KL, maybe the Pavilion app will say, welcome, you are approaching Pavilion. Here are some of the deals, right? So that's some of the example. I think I was in Citibank a few years ago. If you have Citibank's app, they have this example as well. And then it's either TGV or GSC. If I'm not mistaken, it was TGV. If you have a TGV app, you are entering mall with TGV cinemas, then you can see that TGV start to popping up, all right? It start to sending alerts so that you check their offering. So that's an example of geofencing. And then last one is these 2, all right? These 2 only works outdoor, right? These 2 only works outdoor. If you're talking about working indoor, all right, there's another way. It is called indoor location, and it's normally used with devices, all right? So for this one, you can use the GPS or Wi-Fi signal, but this one only it requires devices. All right, so example, all right, I think I given 2 examples just now, which is in here. All right, I have to repeat. I have to take back my Settle apps, where it somebody asked me how Settle works. Right, if you have Settle, whenever you enter station by petrol station, you don't need to go to the counter. All right, so you just enter, and then you select the pump number, all right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it send the information to the server, and then you pay directly from your phone. All right, it's a wallet by Petronas. So how it works is a location aware application. So whenever you enter petrol station, it detects your latitude and longitude, and then it knows that, all right, this latitude and longitude is Petronas sectors Milan's latitude and longitude. So that's why the offers of pump numbers that's come out is from that particular pump station, right? So that's an example of location aware application. Grab Food Panda, all right? So the offering that you get is based on your location, right? So that's second one, and then this one, I think I have the idea of this slide like 2 weeks ago before government offer 50 ringgit. So I just want to bring up, but now I think most of you downloaded it already. But if you have not downloaded, you can download it. This is an example of My Sejahtera app. So My Sejahtera app is get your you have to fill up forms, and then you will get your latitude and longitude. Now it's not really there, right? Because we have not been having COVID-19 area in this area for a long time. But if we open it 2 or 3 months ago, you can see which reported is considered as a sensitive area. Right now, I think we are seeing less and less. But this is an example from your latitude and longitude. It will show you which area is considered a sensitive area. All right. If you heard as well, this one is 2 or 3 months ago. They mentioned about waste, right? That will allow you to they try to do a waste mapping inside smart tunnel, right? So this will be done thanks to a beacon, right? So a beacon is an example of the example that I give for indoor location. And then another one, the example, this one is we went to Plus Hackathon, right? So this one we are using geofencing concept, right? We're using geofencing concept. So it will give you, right, whenever you are entering, we participate on Plus Hackathon on 2018, and then we won the first prize. So we present this app idea, right? It's not there, but we present this app idea to Plus. So that is using geofencing and beacon, right? Geofencing and beacon. So there are two things that we are proposing, so that you can know if a particular R&R is full of people, or if a particular R&R has less crowded, more crowded, and if you're planning to go to Tapah, more crowded there, well, it should ask you to go somewhere else before, right? For example, Ladang Bikam, or it promotes. It promotes coupons, right? If it's around within a perimeter of an area, right? So this was the idea at that time. All right. So we have seen gamification. We have seen location aware. All right. So now we are talking about push notification. I know this one you receive it a lot, right? If you have WhatsApp, you always receive push notification, and but push notification should be used more than pushing an information, right? Lazada, Food Panda did it the best. I think KFC also just did it to me as well. All right. So you how it can improve your customer experience. For example, it can remind you of an abandoned cart. Right. So you notice whenever you buy something on Lazada, you start to add on cart, and then you leave it for a while. Within 30 minutes, you will get a notification saying that the price will go up or down, right? Or things the stock will go down. And then you should target this, what we call a targeted push notification, not a normal push notification. Another one is based on location. The example that I gave just now is about this idea. All right, when you're around Arian Tapa, we push the restaurants in that R&R. Okay, based on your previous history, this one also we pitch it to Asia last time. All right, so for example, if you visited Bali, all right, there is a possibility that you want to go to Phuket, or you want to go to Lombok, all right? So that's push notification based on your previous history. And of course, the one that I think we saw is a general announcement or promotion, right? So for example, in Anak to You, whenever there is a new features, we will send a push notification. So this is part of general announcement. Right. I think the most interesting one is targeted push notification. So this one I like to use Malaysia example, but it's very hard to get push notification on real time. But I just Google. All right. So this is an example on whenever there is a cart abandoned. All right. So this is how you increase their checkout. And then you have a Hopper. If you Hopper and Skyscanner both did it, all right. So it's a flight search engine. All right, you just put your price. I want to go to KL to Paris, for example, and then whenever the price go up or down, all right, it will alert you. Right. So this is the way how you can do a targeted push notification. And this one also is another example, all right? So you can, if a user have not logged in, all right, if your user have not logged in within 30 days, it's similar to your "we miss you" email, right? They send a "we miss you" push notification, all right? So these are some of the ways. So all this can be done easily, right? If you build a mobile app, if you want to build a mobile app, all this can be. There are a lot of software as service that provided these services. All right, and then if you are planning to build a mobile app, all right, you have to think of process simplification. All right, so process simplification means no more long forms. All right, and then the procedures should be easier. All right, you should leverage on all other technologies. So you have to be aware what technology exists and how you can leverage on that. So for example, we mentioned about geolocation, indoor and outdoor. You have sensors, right? There are few things that you can automate with sensors. And then the example that I gave just now, recommendation, right? So you use more tools, for example, machine learning, right, to improve the application. So for example, to provide a better recommendation. When we think about goodbye long forms, there is only one app in my mind, which is this one, all right? So the contrary to which is Sri Lanka, right? So because now if you enter, it's a good app for as an example. If you enter office, right? If you enter shops, right? You have to fill in a lot of forms. But Sri Lanka is an example that allow you to you don't need to fill in forms anymore, right? It's just by a scan of QR code. Business owner just need to print it and then put it inside the premise, and then user just need to scan, and then you that's it, right? Your login. You only need to fill in the information once. Mice Jatra also have this, right? So there are two examples, right? One is Sri Lanka, another one is Mice Jatra. And then in Anak to You also, we try to do the same thing, right? We find out that schools have problems. They have to prepare daily logbooks, right? This is required by government. Normally, all this whatever that's fall in this category, all right, it means that there is a requirement, all right? There is a requirement by government or by the officers, and then that's why you have to fill in all these forms, all right? So we found out this is a problem that the school have as well. So normally schools spends 2 or 3 hours, right, for an average class of 40 students. They send around teachers spend around 2 hours to prepare lesson plan, and then to write the logbook, all right, and then to do the daily reports for the parents, all right. So we run this on one of our pilot kindergartens, so that 2 hour jobs can be decreased into 20 minutes, all right, once you have a mobile app. All right, process form simplification, and once you have an app, the important is to have an analytics, all right, to measure the data that the app acquire. All right, so I think that's the objective of my Jatra just now as well. All right, you download the apps, and then your movement is tracked and everything, and then whenever you are in contact, whenever, for example, somebody who went to 7-Eleven Bangi, for example, has a trace of COVID-19, all right, then all the people will be alerted as well. So that's how an example how MySejahtera, and Sri Lanka try to analyze the data. Right? When we talk about analytics, there are four type of analytics. The first one is marketing analytics. So where do you go? All right. What do you which product? All right. When we talk, for example, Lazada, right? Which product is more popular? Which seller is more popular? Which product has a high abandon rate? So that's some of the example of marketing analytics. And they have in-app analytics as well. So which page is well performed, or which page people go the most? All right, which page people don't go at all? Did people notice that there is a menu on the top right of my apps, for example? Did people click on that menu? So that's some of the example of in-app analytics. Performance analytics is more about how long it takes for the app to load, how long it takes for you to check in, right? For how long it takes for you to register. Okay, so that's performance analytics, and then you have people analytics. Right, people analytics is this one is an example, right? So you register to a travel booking website. All right, I like travel example as well, right? And then you start to book. This is the example that I gave you just now. You book to Lombok, all right? You book to Bali, all right? All this is track. What you book, we might be able to track, and then we might be able to find your next destination and promote to you based on newsletter, or from within the app. All right, so that's what you can do. Right, you track whatever the user is doing within the app, and then you try to find the right content for the user. All right. So if I'm not sure most of you is technical or not, but I just give you an example. Right, Google Analytics is an example on this is how many people is watching your app at a particular time, particular day. Why this day there are a lot of people? So that's an example how you can see it from the dashboard point of view. And then another one is mixed panel is an example how you can see it from a user perspective as well. So these are two examples on how you can do analytics within your app. Right, so I finished the first part. All right, the first part is more on how mobile apps can increase user engagement. Now the second part of my slide is how, if you want to create a mobile app. So right, this is what you need to understand. Right, so the first one is, well, these are all the example of ways. The second part is what you need to understand if you start to building a mobile app. So right, a lot of people confused. They just go directly to they just come out with an IG. I want to build an app to for all the burger stall, right? Another food panda. I want the app burger stall, and then they start to do development directly. But no, it's a long process. All right, starting from define. All right, define. You have design. You have develop. You have testing, and then you have deployment, and then maintenance. Right, so it's a long process from define, design, develop, test, and deploy. Right, so in define is where you come out with features and rules. All right, so this is we are using Trello, for example, to define our requirement. It should have at all the pages. All right, so if you have login page, at least it should have all the pages. Right, you have login page, you have forget password page, you have your burger stall listing page, you have your order page, etc., or you have your my favorite page. Right, at least you should define all the pages and the rules as well. So for example, in login page, I want it to be verified by OTP, right, by the SMS, or in forget password page, or the password rules should be capital letter, small letter. All right, all that should be defined properly. And I normally use Trello bot to do all this. All right, so people normally jump directly. I want an app. Can you build it? No, actually, you have to come up with all the features and rules before you start. Before even you go to the next step, which is design. All right, so in design, You can start by doing a paper prototype as well, right? This one is nice lah. I take it from Google, but normally my paper prototype is very buruk. Right, just sketch it and then give it design. Right, so you can start doing paper prototyping, and then you pass it to a designer. Right, I normally pass it to a designer, and then designer will use either there are two main software, Adobe XD or Sketch, and they will come up with design document. So once you have the design document, that's only the development starts. Then only the development starts. So this is a way to do mobile app development. So for example, for iOS, we use software which is called Xcode. Right? And then for Android, another software that we use is called Android Studio. Right? So just be careful. If you plan to do mobile apps, don't jump directly to step 3. So once that is done, all right, you are preparing your app to be uploaded to Google Play and App Store, all right. But before you download it, before you upload it, you have to have an account to upload the app. So for iOS, for example, you have to plan $99 USD per year, all right. So this if you are an individual or it is a company, you have to pay 99 USD per year. And for company, a DUNS number is required. This one you have to apply to Dunes and Bradstreet. I just checked the price, it's 2,000 something to apply for this number. If any teachers are watching this webinar, all right, for if you plan to do iOS class, in your iOS class in your university, it's free, right? You can apply for iOS Developer University Program. So we are on Develop to Test, all right? So then we are on Test. So you have this the basic structure of mobile app testing, all right? You start to test the function first, all right? I test my login function, make sure it's working. I test my register function, make sure it's working. So that's function testing. Regression means I test everything. Right. Once I finish function by function, I test the entire scenario. Right. Make sure that it's working and whatever. Because whenever you test something, something might broken. Right. Something might be broken. So that's why once you finish all the what we call functional testing, you restart back. Right, and you do regression testing, and then you check the performance a little bit. All right. So what if for small apps? Normally it's not very serious, but if you're a big app, right? But if you're a big apps, AirAsia, for example, they have to do it. Astro on the go, they have to do it, all right? So you have to run performance testing. Make sure that 10,000, 100,000 user, 10,000 user can watch at the same time, right? 100,000 user can watch at the same time. People can register, right? People can register. 50,000, 100,000 people can register at the same time. So that's some of the example of performance testing. Security testing, normally you give it to third party, right? Make sure that somebody go through, make sure that all the data cannot be retrieved. Right? I repeated again, performance testing. And then there's another one is compatibility testing, which means that you ensure that all your phone, all your apps can be used on different phones or different devices. Right, so this is some of the testing that you can done. If you're just a small app, I think the number 1 and 2 is number 1 and 2 and 3, right? At least you have to actually you can start with these two. Once you have the budgets and everything, then you can add, right? Because these two takes a lot of resources and compatibility also. Of course, you have to buy all the devices, so this will require some budgets a little bit. And then you deploy and you monitor, right? Once you upload, you have to monitor. This is another app that I showed just now. When we deploy, we see how many people download, what's the rating, what's the review, and then whenever people reviews, that's some of the tips, right? Whenever people review, you review back. You just reply back to them. I think I should have taken another review. One of the review that we have is these people, this customer want it to be on iPad Mini. We did not support iPad Mini, etc. So that's why you have to monitor the review. You can I check some of the apps here, right? I check some of the apps here, the one that I give example just now. Some of them just don't reply to the customer, and it's very. I think they should do it, right? They should do it. They should just read the review and then try to see, right, what's the problem that people's facing. At that's the best tester, right? The review that you have on your app is the best testers, because you GMAT already, right? You don't need to worry about compatibility testing, because whenever people don't find it not compatible, they will just comment it on the review, right? You should monitor your review. Okay, so that's the second part. All right, the last 10 minutes, I will talk about. I will focus on the design. I will focus on the develop part. Right, I will focus on the develop part. If you want to develop a mobile apps, you need to understand what you need to understand. You need to understand that there are 3 ways to build an app. The first one is what we call native mobile app development. So native mobile app development normally is using Swift for iOS and Java or Kotlin using Android devices. So in a way, right, if you want to build using native mobile development, you either need 2 developers or you need to learn 2 languages. All right. Number 2 is cross-platform. All right. So cross-platform normally, all right, it's built using HTML, CSS, or JavaScript or other languages. I will list down all these out on the next slide. So this one, the difference between cross-platform and native. For cross-platform, you only need one to learn one language, or you just need one developer. But this language or this code, you can deploy it. You can have it on iOS and you can have it on Android as well. Right. So this one, 2 developers or 2 languages. This one developer or 1 languages, but both. It can have both on app and iOS. This one, normally you don't need to learn new languages. If you know how to build a website, you can use the skills that you have on building a website, and you can have a selective of native features. All right, not everything, but you can have a selective of native features, and then you can have it as an app. But this app will not go through App Store, right? It will go to Google Play because they just added the support. But for App Store, user cannot find it on App Store, right? For these 2 can. All right, so these are the technology that I'm talking just now. So for a mobile app, when we talk about native Android and iOS, or for cross-platform or hybrid, all right, so it's either these are some of the keywords that you can look for, right? It's either Ionic, React Native, Flutter, all right, Xamarin, or Native Script. All right, Native Script. These are some of the popular one. So now we talk about pros and cons. All right, pros, or not pros and cons, pros. All right. If when we talk about native, right? When we talk about native, if your app is using a lot of device features, right? When your app is using a lot of device features, and you are using the most canggih, right? The most up-to-date device features. Just now I mentioned machine learning, for example, facial recognition. Another example, if you want, it is advisable for you to use native. All right, so it's if you have a lot of device features, or you use the most up-to-date device features. I'm thinking about machine learning, facial recognition. It is better for you to use native. All right, and then another advantages is that it has been there for a while. Just now I asked you to calculate from iOS 4 to today, right? More than 9 years already, right? So you have a lot of resources, and you have big support of the community and distributor. All right. For cross-platform, all right, for cross-platform, why is it better? it's cheaper, all right? It's shorter developer time because you build on one device, one code only. You need one developer. Of course, it's cheaper, right? And then it's faster. It's shorten the developer time. Is easier, all right? You have one code for both, and then it's suitable for prototyping, all right? This one is suitable for prototyping, MVP or startup development. But this one, I would say that it's a good short-term plan. But if you're looking about long-term, right? If you're talking about long-term, it's better for you to use native because cross-platform, normally you have to update the code. Almost every 6 months to 1 year, you have to update the code. You have to update the code. So that's why I put here. It might be high on maintenance costs, right? So the initial cost is okay, cheaper, but maintenance might be more expensive. All right, so that's native and cross-platform. And then last thing to do, all right, so if you're planning to create an app, all right, so there are 3 ways for your businesses. There are 3 ways for you to do it. I think most people just thinking of number 1 or number 2. People sometimes forget about number 3. So you can do number 1, which is you create your own team. All right, hire your own developers and manage your own team. Of course, this will be your OPEX lah, right? You have your own team, you hire your own developers, and then you manage your own team, and then you just make sure that there's a project, right? You have to make sure that you have the features. You always have the features. But most of business owner worried to have this, right? Because what if? I mean, of course, when you build an app, what if things does not work out, all right? So they go to number 2, right? And number 2 is project-based outsource. You find an external team, or you find an external people to do your application based on the given requirement. All right, so let's say that you know already what you want to build, you give it to other people, and then other people will charge you. And then this one normally is more expensive, all right, than this. Well, but this one you need to know how to manage your own team. And then number 3, a lot of people don't know, right? You can actually recurring based outsource, all right? So you hire an external team, right? And pay them monthly to work for you for a duration time, a period of time. Right? Well, what is the difference between number 3 and number 2? All right, what is the difference between number 3 and number 2? Number 2 means you need to have the requirement already. From company's perspective, you have to have, for example, the design documents, and then you pass the design document, and then you give it to the third-party developers. This one, it's more flexible, all right? So let's say the difference, I think a lot of people confuse, because this one normally from a third-party perspective, this should be finalized, all right? This should be finalized. So for example, right, let's say that I don't know, this picture, right, you don't like this way, you want it to be along the way. After 1 month, you think that it's better for you to have a square, all right? Normally, it's if you're doing number 2, it's harder for you to change it. Right? It's harder for you to change it. If you do number 3, it will be easier for you to change it, because this one, you still have a requirement, but if you change something, then you have to pay longer lah, right? The project might be impacted a little bit. But this one, normally the requirement is strict, and this one is normally more expensive than this one, right? But you are more flexible. You are more flexible with your project, and then recurring based outsource also normally have a minimum months. I normally take minimum month lah, right? If you want minimum 6 months, if pay me, I don't know, right, 10,000, minimum 6 months. Or this one, I would just say one shot, all right, 50,000. I just throw out numbers. You don't say that an app costs 15,000. No app costs 50,000. I just throwing numbers. All right, so that's the 2 difference. Or you can do your internal hiring lah. You can do internal hiring, but this one normally, in my perspective, is good for long term. All right, but you never know. To start, you better choose number 2 or number 3. All right. And then to finish, all right, I will just share with you all the terms, all right, all the terms that I've gone through from the start to the end. Or normally, if you plan to start a new app, you need to know all these terms, right? You need to have a requirement documents. I shared with you Trello board just now. Trello board can be a good requirement documents, right? Although it's not paper, but it could be a good requirement. Once everything is defined with Trello board, normally, if you do number 2, right, nothing should be touched anymore. Right, whatever is on the Trello board, that's the final requirement that the developer will take. And then you have a design document, right? Design document is the design part of the entire flow. Just now, you have to come up with the UI UX. User will come up. The designer will come up with a design document, pass it to the developer, and then developer will build it based on the design document and requirement documents. Just I was mentioning about the silly things of changing the this from a row into a grid. All right, the fact that you want to change it from a row to a grid, that's what we call a change request. All right, that's what we call a change request. And normally, change request is cost. All right, you know it's silly, but that's why you have to have a finalized document, or you use option 3. Right? Because normally, if you want to do that, it's a cost. All right. Normally, from developers or companies' perspective, they will just say, all right, to do that, it will take me 1 day to do it, and then 1 day normally cost me 500 ringgit, for example. So that's a change request. So there is what we call agile development. Agile development normally is related to number. It's easier if you perform agile development when you do number 3 and number 1, which means that you build the features flexibly, right? You can easily add on features and remove features, replace it with other features, because as you are building, you are testing it with the market. You get feedback from the market as well. So it's mostly it's more suitable for option 1 and number 3. Right, Scrum is one of the example of agile development, which means that your long process of developing a mobile app, normally it took around 3 to 4 months, it's broken into 2 weeks or 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. For example, in 2 weeks, I will give you the login features and sign up. You check it, you test it, everything, and then if everything is okay, we go to the next sprint. They call it sprint, right? So they call it sprint. All right, which is building the homepage, and then I give you the homepage. If everything is okay, you tell me within these 2 weeks, and then I move to the next sprint where I build the listing page, for example. All right, so that's a way of building a project. Another way is waterfall methods. Waterfall methods. No, it's normally for number 2. Normally they might use waterfall methods, which means the project duration is 4 months. Well, you wait. Well, you might get immediate release between month 1, month 2, month 3, but normally the development will be there for 3 months, and then only by the end of the 3 months you start doing your testing. Right? So that's another method, waterfall methods. Backlog is the user requirement. All right, backlog is the user requirement, the item of the user requirement. MVP is a minimum viable product, so it's the minimum minimal version of the apps that you need, so that you can test the market, that you can share, you can upload it. We talk about lean startup, right? So there's this book, there's this principle which is called lean startup. That in order for you to create an app, all right, normally you have to build, reiterate, you build, get feedback, and then change, right? Build, get feedback, and change. That should be the process of creating a mobile apps. I think if you want, you can Google any terms that you need more clarification. Project estimation is how much, based on the requirement, based on the backlog, I will come back to you of my project estimation. User story is a features, but this one is more on a user journey. All right. So as a teacher, or as a teacher, I want to be able to create reports by pressing this button. All right. So that's how I define my documents based on user story. And then I talk about backend. Backend is the server part, all right, where the data is stored, where people access to the data. So that's the backend. Front end is what you see. Normally we talk about the mobile app and the website as the front end, and UI UX is the design document that you have, right? I think that's it for my presentation. I think I do 55 minutes, but I just want to clarify one thing as well. All right, when we whatever that you see from this part onwards, or whatever that you see from this part onwards, is only on develop cycle, right? Only on develop cycle. So let's say that you choose to outsource. All right, you just now we talking about 1, 2, 3. Right? You choose to outsource. So you choose to outsource your development process. So you are outsourcing this, right? But the designing part, the define part, you still have to decide. Either you want to do it by yourself, or you want to find the designer, or you want the developer to find the designer. So that's some of your responsibility as well if you're talking about an entire mobile project. So from the part where I introduce you mobile app just now, I'm actually focusing on this part. The testing part, right? The testing part also is the same thing, right? Either you want the developer. Normally, developer don't test, right? Because you need somebody external, right? Some external to somebody else, your friend, your families, yourself, to test the app and then to give feedback. So because developer never find they know the bug that they created, but they will just keep quiet. All right, so you need a third party to test the app for you. And deployment also, we talk about maintenance. So once the app is built, all right, you have to decide who will maintain the apps. All right, you want are you going to keep the same developers, or you want to take over the codes and everything. So that's why whatever that I mentioned here is normally only for the developer part. All right, so I'm done with my presentation. All right, I'm done with my presentation. We just let's see if I have questions, and then.
Yes, thank you, Juan, very much for the very insightful presentation. So at the moment, we don't have any questions, and yes, but we can wait a few more minutes until
Okay.
people ask some more questions. But yes, a reminder to those who are still watching, then if you will be able to access the presentation and the recording once you fill out the feedback form. So, and the feedback form you can find in the comments section, and you will be able to see it on the screen as well in just a couple of seconds.
Of course, I want to. If you come to iTrain, we will do this too, right? If you come to iTrain, we have Android classes and iOS classes as well, and then we will focus on the development part, right? As well. So that's what we're going to do together in iTrain classes if you join.
Yeah. So looks like no new questions are coming in. If any questions do appear, then we will be able to see them in the comments section, or you can write an email to info@itrain.com.mi, and your questions should be answered. Okay, thank you very much, Juan, for your time today.
Okay.